Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for sharing in the love and the joy and the celebration as we honor our heroes and remember lives lived in selfless service to this great nation. Thank you so much. It's going to be a great night. You are going to hear from our families. You're going to hear from those that we honor and those that we remember. The Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors is a family of all of us who are grieving the death of a military loved one, a family that, as you heard, increased last year by 8,849 new surviving family members. TAPS is a group of American patriots who have suffered mightily, but we are coming together to become stronger in our broken places. My journey started with my mother's service in the Army Air Corps, where she was a pilot. Her stories, right? Is that amazing? She was incredible. You know, her stories of grand adventures, of great friends, and the opportunity to serve her country were the most precious memories I have of her after she died when I was a teenager from cancer. One of her most precious possessions was a simple chain with a wing nut on it that the other pilots gave her for coming in on a wing in a prayer. She passed that along to me, along with a gift of love of country, pride in service, and stories that inspired me to serve. My husband and his 3 brothers also lost a parent when they were teenagers. Their father was a World War II veteran who stormed Normandy Beach, married his Irish sweetheart, and became Alaska's first adjutant general. He had a bright future in a new state, but that was cut short by his death in a C-123 crash. So, like me, the Carroll boys felt the call to serve, and 3 of the 4 went right into the Army after high school. Years later, Tom and I found each other, formed a family, and continued to serve, and felt that we were safe from loss because we'd already paid that price. Sadly, loss would find us again when Tom was killed along with 7 other soldiers in an Army Guard plane crash while I was still serving in the Air National Guard. Many of you here tonight can relate because you also come from long legacies of American service and, sadly, in some cases, of American sacrifice. You have stepped into careers to defend democracy in the military, to lead companies that support the warfighter, to guide our government or serve in Congress, or for our precious families here tonight, you are now the living legacies of your loved one's service and sacrifice. TAPS was founded to come alongside the military, to fill gaps, to mend hearts, to complement existing support. And while the military does an extraordinary job of rendering final honors, providing a final resting place, and administering government benefits to those surviving family members who are eligible, TAPS is then there in the darkest moments, offering sanctuary and solace as only those who have traveled this journey through loss can now do. 15 years ago, TAPS began to see families coming to us grieving the death of a loved one to rare cancers, dying at a young age, without a family history of cancer. 1 might be an exception, 2 a coincidence, but when it became dozens and then hundreds, it was a trend. I'll never forget sitting with a grieving mom as she shared the story of her son's deployments, his happy homecoming, and then his death from cancer. That's when we realized his cancer might have been related to exposures to toxins while he was deployed. Alice Daniel became our first survivor who lost a loved one to toxic exposure.
He loved his mama. He loved his daddy, but he loved his mama. We were very close. When you look through that book, you'll see his personality. just big grins on his face and happy all the time. It is the greatest picture. I like when he took the bike from the Iraqi children. Oh, he was a jokester. He chose the life in the military because doing something for other people, it made a man out of my son. After he got home, serving at Carroll at the time, that's a horrible moment. We're riding and he gets a phone call and it's the doctor. And he pulls off to the side of the road. The doctor says, you need to come in and you need to come in now. And you see that look on their face where he knew what the doctor was going to tell him. When I heard the word cancer, I thought it was a bad joke. How can God let both of my boys come home and let me think that we've weathered this, we're home safe? When he died, I was a very angry person for a while. And it wasn't a death where the body was coming back from Iraq. This was a death from a hospital in Houston. So it wasn't like what you see on TV. And most don't know about the burn pits, and most don't know about the illnesses at all. I'd sit in an airport and I'd be talking about Austin and the burn pits, and a person would say, oh, I have a cousin, he was over there and he's come back and he's got cancer of the brain, or he's got... I started realizing it was everywhere. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just my family. It takes a military family to understand a military family. It takes somebody that suffered a loss militarily to understand the military loss. It's one big, huge family is what it is. That's TAPS. TAPS was so important to me because I knew I wasn't unique. There were other people like me. There were other people that understood what I felt. But it was probably most important for his daughter, Anna Lee, because she knew she wasn't unique. She was in a school where everybody has a daddy, but she didn't. And she's made friends across the country thanks to TAPS and the little book that I have of Austin. They have, when they have Bring Your Dad to Work a day at school, she takes her book. And TAPS helped me to be able to do that book. So I guess it's all wound in together. These are my people. I'm going where I belong. My purpose is to make sure that his daughter knows him. His purpose is to tell me to keep going.
We are so honored to have Staff Sergeant Austin Daniels' family with us tonight, his mom, his wife, and his daughter. Since Alice came to TAPS in 2010, we have now embraced 19,654 surviving family members mourning a death due to an illness. Today, 30% of the survivors coming to TAPS are grieving an illness-related loss. But as Alice said, it's a different sort of homecoming when it's from a hospital. To meet the needs of our families, we created the Military and Veteran Caregiver Network in partnership with the Red Cross, collaborated with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation's Hidden Heroes program, and joined with a coalition of service organizations to pass the PACT Act. Nearly 400,000 surviving service members are now eligible for benefits thanks to the PACT Act. Yeah. These are families who will also now be receiving care from TAPS as they connect their loved one's death to their service. We are so grateful to our military and government leaders who are here tonight. You've truly become part of our TAPS family, and you are dear friends. For many of you, our mission is personal. You understand the price that has been paid for freedom, and you very quietly, very personally engage with us in ways that few will ever see. Last month, I got an unexpected text from Secretary Dennis McDonough, who was in Alaska visiting the VA facilities there. Those facilities include the National Cemetery at Fort Richardson, where my husband is buried. Secretary McDonough did something that meant the world to me, something he absolutely didn't have to do. He visited my husband and honored his service, and he thanked him for my service. This is why our nation is in good hands, because our leaders understand and honor service and sacrifice. Thank you. Thank you, Admiral Grady, General McConville, General Berger, General Saltzman, and General Brown. You are not only great leaders, but by your presence here tonight, you are also compassionate human beings who put your troops first, and you care for your families, and through TAPS, you care for your survivors. To my battle buddies here tonight, Ahmed, Roy, Whitney, Masood, Mohammed, thank you for traveling from the front lines of Ukraine, the Middle East, and those locations where freedom and democracy are being defended to be with us tonight. Thank you for your steadfast support for the families of America's fallen heroes, and now for standing strong with our sister organization, TAPS Ukraine. They have hope because you are with them. You inspire me every day, and I am forever grateful to you. We have so many here tonight who are part of the TAPS mission. Our board of directors, our peer professional staff, our military mentors, and most importantly, our surviving families. I'd like to ask everyone who is part of our TAPS family to stand and let us recognize you. We grieve because we love. And the lives of those we love and remember and honor are forever imprinted on our hearts and woven into the fabric of this nation. They make us stronger, they inspire us, and in that way, they are immortal. Our men and women can go into battle today because they know that if they don't return, their families will be cared for. One of our military mentors told us that when a suicide bomber attacked his compound, he saw the blast and knew immediately that there were fatalities. He told us that he said a prayer for the fallen, and then he knew with complete certainty that, in his words, TAPS will be there for their families. We will come to know these soldiers through their kids. We will comfort and care for all their loved ones. And then he took charge and he ran towards the battle. Tonight, as we celebrate the mission and honor our nation's heroes, as we say a prayer and run toward the battle, take comfort in knowing that you, each of you here tonight, has played a role in ensuring that the families of our nation's fallen are never alone, never forgotten, and forever with their TAPS family. We are each other's battle buddies. We have been tested under fire. We have withstood the 21-gun salute, and we have bravely and graciously taken the folded flag in our lap. We have held our children as they wept for a parent who would never return, and we have put our arms around a mom and dad now burying their only child. At TAPS, we have a simple prayer. Thank God for the little while. Whether we had those we love for 19 years or for 90, the time we had with them would never have been long enough. But thank God we had them in our lives, and we loved them, and they loved us. As you enjoy this evening, and as you go forward from this night, know that you have touched the lives of tens of thousands of precious souls who you will never know, but who will forever be grateful to you. May God bless and watch over those you love. May God bless our heroes in heaven and comfort their families here tonight. And may God bless and protect this great nation. Thank you all. God bless you.